Welcome back, guys. We were gone for the Christmas break, but now we're back and we're doing some more episodes just like we did before. We're here at Origin Podcast Studios, and we're going to do a Q&A, me and Tristan. Just to let you guys know, I've eaten nothing today, and I've taken a ton of caffeine, and Tristan's job is to get me as angry as possible. So what do we got today, Tristan?
All right, it's good, man. So you just got a Cybertruck recently.
Yes.
Awesome. And you like it. It's going good, right?
It's incredible. It's better than I could have imagined.
Cool. Yeah. So what did you think about Clavicular running that dude over with Cybertruck?
Man. Okay. So my first thought is, because I was watching Coach Greg talk about this, and a lot of people were like, how is he going to defend himself in court? We don't know what was going on. I don't know if the Cybertruck would record in all directions, but if there truly was someone behind him and on the side, and Clavicular is saying that the guy had a gun, if he had a gun in Florida, you're totally within your rights to do this. But it looked like the guy in front didn't have a gun. So again, this is one of these situations where you don't know. You notice the thing with Wes Watson. You remember when he kicked the shit out of that dude in the gym and he just kept kicking him over and over again?
Yeah.
His attorney made a very good point, which was you don't know if this guy has a gun. And you have the presumption, you are allowed the presumption that this guy wants to kill you, and you don't know that he doesn't have a firearm. Also, in the state of Florida, I don't know if you remember during the whole the Kings, what do they call, No Kings protest. Do you remember this? How where they were trapping cars in there, and there was a sheriff in Florida that said you have the right to run people. Actually, it may have been the governor too who said you have the right to run people.
Ron DeSantis said that.
Don't quote me on this. It may have been the district attorney, but I know there was at least a sheriff who was saying if people get in front of you in your car, you have the right to run them over. I think what he did was avoidable, but at the same time, I absolutely don't think it's going to be very difficult in a state with castle doctrine where you have the right to defend yourself for them to convict him. Now, that being said, I think it was totally avoidable. Here's the crazy part is people coming to me and being like, well, I guess he's done. I guess he's canceled. Clavicular will be 3 times more popular a year from now. Mm-hmm. Nobody gets canceled. We elected a man twice who a porn star while his wife was pregnant. We sat there after what's her name? Bruce Jenner, Kylie Jenner runs over someone and kills them, runs over a second person, is Woman of the Year 4 months later, incredibly famous. It doesn't make any difference. The sex tape with Kim Kardashian, 300 million followers on Instagram. Kylie is a billionaire after getting run through by Travis Scott and whoever. No one gives a shit. Akash Singh supposedly took the greatest L of all time. Akash Singh next year will be the most famous comedian in the world.
Yeah.
And just think about the Logan Paul, all those videos of Nina Agdal and those photos of Leonardo DiCaprio touching her face and Diplo saying that he smashed and all this kind of stuff. Nothing. The kid's going to be a billionaire. No one pays for shit. I guarantee you Clavicular will not be canceled because of this. Here's the other thing that I don't understand about the whole Clavicular situation. These people who want to debate him, like, he's 20. He doesn't know. I don't need Clavicular to agree with me. I know. I have 4,000 testimonials. I know that status trumps looks. If he wants to believe that looks trump status, please continue to believe that. I hope that everyone out there, please go subscribe to Clavicular. Follow Clavicular. The more guys who follow him, the more guys worry about looks and not game, the more my clients will take their girlfriends. Keep doing it. Please. I encourage you to go follow him.
Do you, well, this is actually a good segue, right? So why do you think Blackpill exists at all?
Well, because it gives you an excuse. Because think about this. One of the things that Clavicular did that's good is he's telling you get in shape, right? He's telling you get in shape. He's telling you look your best, dress your best. That part is great. A lot of the Blackpill guys,
everything, he's like, dude, if you're not on test, you're not trying.
Right, exactly. So all that stuff, like to a certain extent, there is some good there. The problem is that I don't think he recognizes that the majority of his audience are people that are unattractive, who he's giving this advice to. And what's happening is instead of them becoming more attractive, they're like, you see, this is why I don't get girls. This is it. And so now they have this warm, comfortable blanket of victimhood that they get to sleep inside of and they feel good about it. Let me give you the metaphor for what Clavicular is. Clavicular is a 7-foot guy playing center in the NBA, telling a bunch of 6-foot guys to play center in the NBA. Just play center like me. I'm a guy who tells those same 6-foot guys, learn how to pass, learn how to shoot, learn how to dribble, learn how to control the pace, don't turn the ball over, learn how to rebound, learn how to defend. I am telling people work on a skill set because you're only 6 feet tall. You can't play center. Mm-hmm. He's telling people just be good looking and you'll get hot girls. And any guys who date hot girls who aren't good looking, it's anecdotal. Okay, dude, believe whatever you want. And by the way, congratulations to him because his platform is blown up. And I always admire people for even, like, I don't agree with Candace Owens, but she's blown up. Like, I admire people for putting in the work. It's just the problem is whenever I see like Gary the numbers guy or all these other people debating him, like why do you care so much about what he thinks? He's a kid who was taking steroids at 13. I don't care. No disrespect for him. He doesn't give a shit what I think. I don't care what he thinks. I don't need to prove to him that I'm right. But everyone, even Coach Greg, who we both love Coach Greg, even Coach Greg, and I know he's doing it because it's really interesting content. Coach Greg is hilarious. But like, I don't care. Greg Doucette, but not Coach Greg. And what is CGA? I'm talking about Greg Doucette. It's like when we watch Coach Greg, the stuff is hilarious, but I don't care what he thinks. Coach Greg does make one good point, is that because of the popularity of clavicular, then therefore kids will now take steroids in when they're teenagers.
I do think there's dangerous repercussions to people copying exactly what he does.
Yes, and I grew up in a time where high school kids were taking steroids. There was a massive problem.
At 14?
Yes, at 14. So when I was in high school, there were tons of kids in my high school in Texas who were taking steroids. It was a very, very, very common thing. And they didn't know what they were doing. They were just taking straight up primobolan, trembolone. And these kids were like 17, 18 years old. There was a massive steroid epidemic in Dallas from like say 96 to like 2003 until they put those guys in jail. There was a lot of underage kids taking steroids. I didn't take anything because I was 42 and I took tests.
Yeah, I mean, I think with clavicular, I mean, I think he's right to some extent.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I think he's right. Like, the one caveat I would say to everything he says is I agree with everything he says, and not everything he says.
For him.
No, I agree with it in the short term.
Sure.
Like if you're in the GA of a nightclub, I kind of actually agree with
yes.
you. Right? Like, yes, you're gonna get mogged by a guy who's better looking than you.
Yes.
But I don't agree. Like his philosophy does not go beyond a short-term interaction. Once you get into long-term, everything he says kind of goes out the window.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it does. But like what he's done is gotten really good at one level of attraction. It's almost like I've said this before. Like attraction is very important to women in general, but it's very, very important to a certain subset of women. And from his standpoint, he's attractive enough to where he will always have women coming after him. So his theory is actually correct in his reality. The problem is I don't live in his reality. I'm not as good looking as him, number one. And number two, almost none of my clients are as good looking as him. So I have to live in their reality. And in their reality, I teach them a skill set and how to use relevancy, competency, access to scarce resources, locations, networks, humor, charisma, pre-selection, social proof, not looks, not height, not drugs, not money, not alcohol. I have to use those attraction triggers in order to get Sandeep from New Delhi, who's 5'4", laid. And I do. You know I do. You see it every week that I do. The guys who come on the calls and they show us who they end up sleeping with, every week we're like, what? How many times have we turned the recording off and like, bro, how did you bang that chick? Do you remember that one time when it was Kevin was talking about it, and then we turned recording off, and Will was like, "Yo, how did you?" Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It happens every week. So I don't need black pillars to believe me. I don't care if they believe me. I know what I'm saying is true. Just again, Galileo knew he was correct when he told the Pope that the Earth goes around the sun. It doesn't matter. The difference with me is I don't care what the Pope believes. I know what I do is true, and I'm only here to save those who are willing to be open to evolutionary psychology data, evolutionary biology data, sociological data, and the complete and clear evidence from thousands of guys who crush it with women who are ugly. And it works very well. So what I'm saying is, can you play in the NBA and be Shaq? Yes. Can you play in the NBA and be Steve Nash? Yes. Who has more of a skill set, Steve Nash or Shaq?
Steve Nash.
It's not even close. But what I'm saying is they're both league MVPs. Some people will say that Steve Nash stole one from Shaq, but they're both league MVPs. But one of them is a skill set and he's short, and one of them is a freak of nature who was 7'1", 340 pounds and could jump out of the building. The clavicular is the 7'1", 340 guy. He's going to be in the NBA no more. Shaq could be half as skilled as he was, and he would still play in the NBA.
Sure.
Clavicular, because of the fact that he is a really good-looking guy, he's going to do well with women, but he's going to do more well with women who are more interested in looks. And the reality is most women are not mostly interested in looks. Most women are interested in the way a guy makes them feel, the status, the pre-selection, and the social proof that the guy brings. And the reason why I can prove that is because, as you know, I date above out of my league, and I've been dating out of my league for 25 years. The reason why is because I understand those concepts instead of breaking the bones in my face or getting
bone smashing.
I don't do the bone smashing. Now, granted, I have a full head of hair, but like other than that, like I'm just an average looking dude, and I've been able to do this for years. Why is it? Because I understand I'm not special. Women choose who other women choose. Make choice copying in humans. So here's the thing. Clavicular and his crew are like, this worked because I say so, and I'm 20. David Buss Cindy Meston, Stephen Stewart Williams, Gad Sad, Lita Cosmides, Jeffrey Miller, PhDs in evolutionary psychology are saying this is who women choose because of status. So I'm going to listen to the 17 PhDs in evolutionary psychology more than I'm going to listen to the 20-year-old. And again, I'm not knocking him, but I'm just tired of people being like, we got to prove to these guys that the black pillars are wrong. I've been trying to debate wheat waffles forever. This guy runs from me like Jake Paul running from Anthony Joshua the other night. That's what it looks like. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just telling you, like, there's no reason. Like, again, I am not Martin Luther King. I am not standing on the hilltop trying to preach to the entire world. You're going to do social circle, and I have a dream that all of you will have a beautiful. I am the guy with the lifeboat on the Titanic while it sinks. And hey, bro, you want to get in the lifeboat? Are you down to do some work? You down to work? So some guy was asking me today. He goes, "What do you think about the book, The Secret?" I'm like, "Well, obviously none of it's true. The Secret is complete and total. Deepak Chopra, total. Joe Dispenza, total. The Secret, total. There's nothing in The Secret, the book, The Secret, about taking action. If I wrote a book that countered The Secret called The Action, instead of The Secret called The Action, and in this book I said, as an entrepreneur, you're going to work outrageous levels of hours, take on unbelievable levels of risk and stress, and actually like crush and sometimes destroy the relationships with your family and friends. And in doing so, you might be successful. How many copies would I sell?
None.
But it's the truth. That's the difference. I wouldn't sell a book
it's the
called
truth if you're a man.
Yeah. I wouldn't sell a book called The Secret. I would sell a book called The Truth. And the truth is life is really hard. You have to bust your ass. You need speed of implementation and suspension of disbelief, and there's no free lunch. No one wants to read that book. The Secret is for lazy people. The Secret is the greatest book I've ever read for people who don't want to work. It's incredible. It's so amazing. Joe Dispenza, you're telling me I can just pray and then it'll heal my spine? What happened to all those kids who don't have running water in South Sudan? Did they not pray enough? Those kids who lived in 1939 in the ghettos of Poland, who got thrown into concentration camps, did they not pray enough? Is that what happened? They didn't believe in The Secret and manifest their freedom. These people are ungrateful and dumb. And the truth, one of the reasons why I'm always going to be shackled on social media, and I've said this about a bunch of other people, is I will never tell you what you want to hear. I will only tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm. Actually, that's a good segue. Why do you, like, every time we get into a conversation, when I hear someone bring up Joe Dispenza, Deepak Chopra, The Secret, why is it always a hot girl who is always trying to sell me on this?
It's not just a hot girl. It's also men who have their parents pay for everything.
Yeah.
Men who are like their parents, like literally they're like going from job to job as like an art designer, or they're an OnlyFans management agency or whatever. In reality, what's happening is their parents are paying for their lives. The people like that, they're the ones who they have believing that the world is going to manifest you. What does that mean? That means you deserve stuff. Believing that you deserve
narcissistic.
Stuff, but it is narcissistic. But believing that it's also solipsistic. Believing that the world owes you something because you had good emotions and good vibes. That is a privilege. Again, if you are starving, if you were living in Uganda during the Hutus and the Tutsis murdering each other, you don't have the privilege of believing in good energy and vibes. You're trying to survive. Well, no, the only reason those people got murdered is because they didn't manifest good energy.
It was their collective vibe that led to the genocide.
You can sell books like this to like middle-class Anglo people who live in North America or in the Western world, and they're dumb enough and privileged enough to believe like this. They are, but the rest of us aren't. We have to work. I did not grow up rich. I grew up in East Dallas, and we weren't poor, but we were middle class, and I knew when I was in college, if my dad was rich, he sure as didn't tell me, because they didn't pay for shit. I paid for my own college. I paid for every single meal I ate, and that's essentially what happened. And so I don't understand like this concept of like, because in The Secret, it legitimately does not tell you to take action. Do you know that? There's nothing in there about taking action. Just ask yourself.
I had this mentor of mine. You know him very well. He literally, I like the same conversations I would have with you. Like, I had these goals down, and I swear to God, his number one piece of advice. His number one piece of advice was, dude, it's so easy. Just write it down.
Just write it down. And that'll make it true. Do you want to know something? I was listening to Alex Hormozy say, hey, when I wake up in the morning, I don't make my bed. I don't meditate. I don't take a cold plunge. I was listening to Elon Musk. He was like, yeah, I don't write things down. I drink a bunch of Diet Coke with aspartame in it, and I don't get any I don't get any exercise. Like all these things that you have to do to be successful. Here's the thing. Let's do an experiment. How many hyper successful people do you know that weren't successful, read The Secret, and then became successful using their own money versus the number of people who just took action, worshipped at the altar of action, and did not believe in The Secret? We're going to compare these two cohorts of people and see which one is more successful. And it will be 100,000 to 1 the people that I associate with who don't leave YouTube comments, who go to the gym all the time, who don't, maybe they read The Secret and laughed at it because they realized how ridiculous it was and then moved on with their life. And then a bunch of trust fund kids and attractive women who believe that The Secret is real.
It's great. I mean, it's the amount of people who have like attributed. I don't know anyone who I know that like actually has a real business. Oh, actually, no, I'll take that back. Unless they sell a course on it.
Yes.
They always have to sell a course
Yes.
on it. Every single person who preaches this is always selling a course on it.
Yes.
But honestly, man, I've actually thought, like, you ever think we're in the wrong business?
I know we're in the wrong business. I'm in the business of like, you understand, you have to get results. If you come and take my program, I have to give you results. If I don't give you results, you don't come back because I teach you how, like, discernible.
We don't sell a feeling.
Yes. If I was selling a feeling, I would make, you know what the markup on cost of goods sold on a feeling is? It's zero. It's infinite markup. It's 100% profit. I literally have to get a team to edit your photos, another team to look through your social media. I have another team that coaches you in field at Vegas Immersion, another field that coaches you through our other program, our social media boot camps. I have another team that sets up our Zoom calls and then puts them on the schedule. I have another, like, I have teams of people, setters, closers, all this kind of stuff. I have to get you results. Like, there's the thing is, you know, with pickup artists, they do they get guys to come on 1 or 2 boot camps and then they're done. My clients stay with me for 6 years. Why is that? Because I must consistently get you results. And if I don't, then all those people at moamentoring.com/testimonials are lying, and they're not lying, and they weren't compensated to say any of that stuff. Mm-hmm. So that's the difference. I'm in the wrong business because the way to make money is to sell people what they want to hear. Sell them hope. Tell them that if they just manifest good feelings, then the world will manifest a Lamborghini for them and they don't have to take any action. Best-selling book. It's called The Secret. You guys can pick it up. But those of us right here who have to work, it's hard, bro. If you really understood the incredible level of insanity and the unreasonable and just completely illogical nature of how much I'm willing, I would give a kidney for my business. And if you understood the incredible irrational nature it took to be a successful entrepreneur, and I wrote a book and told you about how much you would have to do it, none of you would read the book. None of you would read it.
Have you seen the stats where they, like, all of these guys that we're talking about, like Joe Dispenza, Deepak Chopra, whoever wrote The Secret? Have you ever looked at the stats on what percentage of their following is women?
80% of their following is women. Yes, 80% of 80% of Joe Dispenza's following are female. Yes, that is correct.
It's a great business model, man.
It is an incredible business model. It's unbelievable. But I respect my audience too much.
Yeah, I mean, so actually on that note, though, like, I actually think that, like, when you talk about Blackpill and The Secret, I think they're two sides to the same coin.
Yeah,
like,
so
one is telling you the positive thing that you want to hear. One's also telling you the negative thing that you want to hear.
Well,
but both leave you in the middle.
But it's giving you the excuse of why you are the way you are. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There's certain things like, if I'm broke, that's on me. If I'm not playing small forward in the NBA, that's genetics. Like, I know the difference. I'm not a victim. Because the NBA, I always wanted to play tight end in the NFL, but I'm not tall enough to play or fast enough to play tight end in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And so because of that, I'm not a victim. The NFL did not victimize or discriminate against me. Mm-hmm. There's not some huge discrimination for me to not play tight end in the NFL. Just genetically, like, my dad was slow and I was slow. That's just how it works. And so that's the way we have to look at life. Now, but the rest of it, though, my mindset, who I date, how much money I make, and how charismatic I am, that's my responsibility. Mm-hmm. I can take hyper introverted people who are very vapid and horrible speakers, and I can make them into great speakers. I can make them into great investors. I can make them into great employers. I can make them into great leaders. But what I can't do is make you 7 feet tall. And so, like, you have to determine, like, which part is a victim.
Well, you can get the height surgery now.
You can get the height surgery. Yeah, that's the next thing. I can't wait to see all the guys that go do that and they're just walking around all like.
Clavicular wants to get the height surgery.
Yeah, he's 6'2" and he wants to be 6'6". Hey, good for him, bro. I'll probably watch. I'll be honest with you. I love that. Like, it's a circus show. That's what it is. But like, here's the difference, right? When I was growing up, I would watch Hulk Hogan fight the Iron Sheik. Mm-hmm. I knew it was fake. I didn't think that the Hulk Hogan and the Iron Sheik really didn't like each other. They bought steroids from the same guy and probably swapped wives with each other. I knew that behind closed doors, Macho Man Randy Savage and Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan were probably friends. Does that make sense?
But like the general audience does. Like
Think-
general, like do you know
None
that?
of us really thought it was real. I mean, a few of us thought it was
You
real.
know, when I was in college, there were people at Harvard who actually still believed The Rock was natural.
That's crazy.
I'm serious.
Yeah, because he's a liberal, so he believed he was that. Hilarious. He just got big because he believed in Keynesian economics. That's what happened. He was a Bernie supporter and it made his muscles big. That's what happened. No, I mean it's pretty nuts. The Rock even talks about taking steroids in the.
No, he took steroids once.
Yeah, I mean it's whatever lie he's got to tell himself. But it's it sucks because like I that's the other thing. The thing you can always come back from. You can always come back from a mistake or an embarrassment. The thing that's hard to come back from is like extreme levels of hypocrisy. This is why like Sadia Khan legitimately has suffered as far as her engagement is concerned after all this stuff came out about her because she's a hypocrite. Whereas with Logan Paul, like his wife was doing all this shit. He married her. He went ahead and married Nina Agdal after all that Dylan Danish came out. He married her. So I can't call him, whatever you want to say about him, I can't call him a hypocrite. And he's got $1 billion more than I do. So congrats to him, bro. I can't call him a hypocrite. You know, even with the Travis Hunter situation, like him marrying that girl, like the problem is he's blind to what she's doing and he's going to pay for it in the end, but he did marry her. He does say he loves her. So I can't call him a hypocrite. It's the being a hypocrite that's the problem. That's why you never hear me judging people for their decisions when I'm on the show. If you're a guy and you want to marry a sex worker and it works out for you, good for you. You just beat the odds. But I'm not going to be like, I can't believe you did that. You married a 304. No, I'm not here to judge you. That's not my point. My point is to tell you the truth. What did the statistics say? Woman with a high body count, is she more likely to cheat? Yes. How could it be anything else? That is the truth. A man with a high body count, is he more likely to cheat? Yes. But men are less likely to cheat. Most men don't cheat.
Yeah.
Most men don't cheat. I think the numbers I heard somewhere like 30% of men cheat in marriages. I don't think that's anywhere near true. I think it's way lower than that. Men don't have the opportunity to cheat. I think that number is going to fall precipitously. More men are going to want to cheat, but fewer men are going to be able to cheat because of the way women are pulling themselves out of the in real life dating market because of social media. I think fewer and fewer men are going to be able to cheat unless you look like a male model. Then in that case, you'll be able to do it with no problem.
Do you think, like, especially with the rise of guys like Cliff Killer, do you think it's a problem where, like, obviously, as these guys get bigger, like I'm talking like Aiden Ross, Clavicular, Neon, these types of guys, these guys are like give such advice and they feel like they know how the world works. And like even myself, I'm young and 25. I rarely listen to guys who are even 25 years old on advice. Like the guys who, like, generally speaking, for the guys watching, the guys who generally have the best advice on life are guys who are at least 35 years old.
Yeah.
And the fact that these guys are put in such a high pedestal and they're giving advice, but they're so young. Like, you know how I knew Clavicular's stance on the nightclub wasn't true? Because he said, I was a bouncer and like, this is what happened in nightclubs. I'm like, 19. You've never been to a nightclub.
Yeah.
You've never been to a nightclub.
He's probably been, and he probably was a bouncer for like one summer. I was a bouncer for several. Here's the thing. Who's more famous? Neon, Aiden Ross, or Alex Hermosi?
Oh, Aiden Ross.
Yeah, Aiden Ross is way
by far.
And Neon's probably more famous than Alex Hermosi too.
Yeah.
The problem is like Alex Hermosi, this dude is almost batting 1,000. I can't think of like 3 things I've ever heard this guy say that was bad advice. There's some things where it like wasn't applicable to my business, but like if you really wanted to level up your business, you should listen to Alex Hermosi. Like he has better advice than most people that I listen to. But people are going to listen to iShow Speed. They're going to listen to Aiden Ross. They're going to listen to these other guys. Why is that? Because they're telling you what you want to hear and they're entertaining you. Does that make sense? So it's like, for me, I'm going to listen to the less entertaining person who's going to help me build my business, and you're going to watch, Neon get cheated on by his girlfriend and then laugh at him. Like, what? Like, how have you built? Again, you have no right. I'm going to say this right now. Ready? Here's the controversial statement. You have no right to criticize women if you cannot bench press your body weight. Let me say it again. You have no right to criticize women or call them 304s if you cannot bench press your body weight. Period. If you are over 27% body fat as a man, you have no right to criticize women. Now, if you're a dude who's banging like 5 girls a week and you're like, yo, man, I was with this girl and she acted like a hoe, you have every right. Go ahead. I have no credit. If you're a dude who slays it with women and you want to criticize women, via con Dios. But if you're a dude who cannot bench press your body weight, you do not yet have the privilege of criticizing women.
Yeah, 100%. Let me see what else. Oh, this is something I want to talk about because it comes up a lot in our conversations, and even on the drive here, we were watching a bunch of videos. Can you debunk this concept of IOIs? Because I hear this like with female dating coaches.
It's mostly female dating coaches. Yeah.
No, it's not mostly female dating coaches. Because I keep seeing it on my For You page.
Well,
it's good-looking male dating coaches. Yeah. It's dating app coaches, and it's like, oh, if a girl looks at you, these are the signs that she's interested. And I always knew this was nonsense.
Yeah.
But talk about that.
Well, it goes back to the whole triage argument. So basically, most matchmakers, dating coaches, and pickup artists, they know deep down they can't help most of their clients. So it's very similar to, like, imagine if you saw your friend.
I actually think, but I've talked to these guys, they actually believe this stuff.
Do they really? They think that their unattractive client is getting IOIs from girls?
No, they don't think that.
Yeah.
I'm saying that they think that IOIs are real.
Okay, well,
I don't even think they're real.
We'll get
more or less that one guy from New Delhi is getting IOIs.
We'll get to that second. The thing is, like, imagine you saw your friend get shot in the stomach and he was bleeding out, blood was coming out of his mouth, and you knew he was going to die. You would hold his hand and you would look at him like, bro, the ambulance is coming. You're going to be fine. You tell him you're going to be fine. You know he's going to die, but you don't want him to suffer while he's dying, so you just tell him whatever you can while he's dying. This is what most matchmakers, dating coaches, and pickup artists are doing. They understand deep down, the ones who are honest, they can't help 90% of their clients. They understand they can't. So they say whatever feels good to keep the guys coming back over and over again. So because these guys are not generating any attraction with women, what they do is they say, oh, if a woman does this, then you need to assume attraction and go approach her. That's what they have to say because they don't have anything else. If I were to say, well, hey, man, why don't you just teach him how to build attraction? I'm like, well, no one knows how to do that. I'm like, really? No one knows how to do that? Why don't you just take a guy who's unattractive and get a really attractive woman to find him attractive? I'm like, well, no one knows how to do that. Really? No one knows how to do that? Because I can show you a bunch of evolutionary psychology textbooks and I can show you thousands of clients. I know how to do that. But because they don't know how to do that, again, where's my camera? I did your dating apps. I was on Millionaire Matchmaker. I know Patty Stanger. I did your pickup artist. You never did my social circle game. So don't presume to tell me what works and what doesn't. That's the difference. And so because they don't grasp that concept, then, guys, I got bad news for you. 90% of pickup artists that you watch on the social media haven't done 1/10 as much a cold approach pickup as me. Okay, I was doing this 20 years ago. I know it does. Like, deep down, I always knew it was like, this doesn't work. I'm going up to women with like very low status and I'm trying to talk my way into them thinking that I'm higher status. And I tend to go home with women that already find me attractive. This isn't working. The girls that I end up going home with have like a 600 body count. Like, I don't really like this. I want to generate so what I started doing as I started saying, okay, who's crushing it in this club? Who's crushing it in this venue? Who's crushing it in this college? Who's crushing it at this frat? Who's crushing it in this social circle? Who's crushing it at this yoga club or running club? And I would go find those guys and I would reverse engineer what they were doing. And the crazy thing is they were all doing the same thing. The women were not sleeping with these guys because of their intent. They were sleeping with these guys because of their status. So I just focused on status. And then when I did that, then I started to notice, wait, not only was I getting more attractive women, they were choosing me, not the other way around. That's what started happening. And then the more I would go out and try to, hey, guys, just let you know this pickup stuff really isn't working. Here's what you should do instead. The more hatred I got, I was like, well, why don't you just check my social media if you think that I'm lying? And like, they would do it and they would see all the women following me. Here's the thing. It's not just that I have a bunch of pictures we meet with girls, and I don't recommend most of you do this. I have a business, and I have to market to guys, so that's why I do it.
Well, that's because, pre-selection makes you insecure.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That's usually what happens.
So it's partially that. The problem, the problem where guys run into some serious trouble when they criticize me is that all the girls in the photos follow me and like the photo and go on dates with me. Like, that's the problem.
Wait, that's actually a question I have for the guys who say this. How can the photo be unattractive? Mm-hmm. Okay. So if you go by what women say,
yes,
and they say it's unattractive,
and male model dating coaches, also,
wait, they say that it's unattractive, but at the same time, if they are liking, commenting on the photo, saying this was an amazing time, I love you, all of this, how are both of those things true? Well, no one's ever explained that.
Okay,
part.
so here's the thing that happens. So male model dating coach, and you guys know who you are, like super good looking dating coach. They're always the ones who say, you shouldn't post pictures with women. What happened in their life is that they showed a girl a picture of them with women, or showed one of their clients a picture with women, or showed them one of my clients a picture with women. And the woman that they're sleeping with said, ooh, I don't like that. That looks creepy. And they're like, oh, well, a woman told me that she doesn't like that, so I need to get on the internet and let everyone know that it looks try hard to take pictures with women. Meanwhile, the Royal Society, Southwest University, Texas Tech University, Oklahoma State, they've done multiple studies where they show images to women of men and other women are in the photo. And in every single one of these, they always come up with the same result. Women find those men to be more attractive. So here's what I did. I did my own.
Wait. Why do you think the women's responses in the surveys are different from what they hear?
Because women, when women say something, they're saying what they find comfortable. Again, if you're
But how do you know that's not what's in the survey, though? How are they not? It's like, why is what they rate as attractive in the survey different from what they tell the dating coach, per se? Why do you think that is?
Because the dating coach girl. And so,
got it.
Yeah, because the dating coach has attraction. Because again, you'll notice, guys, please do this if you ever want to. All the guys who are saying don't post pictures with the girls, notice how good looking they are, and then notice the guys who aren't good looking who are coaching. Notice how none of them are agreeing with them, because this absolutely, there's no way. The problem is like,
wait, let's go a step further. Notice all the good looking guys who also post with girls who are also crushing them.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. So the other thing is like, I'm very, the word, I think the term is inconvenient. I am the inconvenient truth. You can't wipe away all the success my clients have and then go off and say, oh, this concept doesn't work unless you're a promoter or whatever. It's like, well, promoters get laid more than most guys that I know. And the other thing is, and this is a completely side tangent, the reason why I get invited to every party is because I have a bunch of pictures of me with women. You can't argue that. I don't care how much you hate my strategy. I don't care what kind of club. The reason why I get invited to every party, the reason why I would get invited to the Playboy Mansion, the Ignite parties, the Maxim parties, the reason why I would get invited to the Sports Illustrated party, the reason why is because I would always have girls with me, or they would see on my social media that I had girls with me. So I would go to these parties and there'd be 7 girls for every guy, and I would meet even more women. This was my strategy. I know it's hard for other people to believe. I know they get, no, you need to be a good guy and not look like a player. I'm like, no, you do, because you're good looking. If you're good looking, like we had Jamie Lynn on her boyfriend's like a huge male model. And I was like, Jamie Lynn's boyfriend should not be posting pictures with the women. He already has attraction.
Even that I disagree with. Because
there's work with them.
I won't say his name, but there's a guy who was in our program. He was a male stripper. Yeah. And he was like, dude, I took the pre-selection down because it just worked too much.
Yeah.
Like, no, I don't even go that far. I think it also works on that.
My whole thing is this. Like, I'm not saying, like, me posting pictures with girls doesn't prove anything, right? You may still have skepticism about it. My question to you is, why are the guys who are saying you shouldn't post pictures with girls, why can't they show you any evidence of their success? They can't show you anything. Like, I'm at least trying. Criticize me if you want, but you can't call me a hypocrite because I'm trying. And no matter what you say, that video of all those girls dressed like cats for my birthday to surprise me for my birthday the other day, 35 girls waiting for me to show up to the restaurant, you can't say I faked that because it's there. You can keep believing what you want to believe because it feels better, but the reality is social circle really is everything. Sorry, cold approach pickup just turned out to be a waste. And even looks maxing, it works, but there's some guys it'll never work for. There's no way for you to looks max into a certain ethnic group or whatever you feel like you have to do. There's a limitation to these things. With me,
why are all these looks maxers white?
Bro, like you remember, I'm not going to say his name, but this short Indian bald dude who that girl in the back of the Tesla who told us the other day, like we were all just sitting there like, what? And then he showed us the girl and we're like, holy shit. Like me, I'm like impressed because I'm watching this and he didn't pay her. And like, there's no way if I took those guys who were doubting my program, the male model dating coaches, the black pillars, whoever, and they would listen to the story about this dude banging this chick, they could not comprehend that it's real. But yet we get stories like that every week.
Dude, you know what's so great? I was actually thinking about the other day. Like if I want to join your sales team, right? Yeah. And I apply, what do I need to have? What do I need to show?
Like maybe $2 or $3 million worth per year.
So I need to show what? I need to show evidence.
Yes.
Right? If I want to pitch somebody a business idea, I need to show evidence.
Yes.
What is the one profession where you could have hundreds of thousands of followers, I know you can't say this, but I don't matter, so it's fine. You can make hundreds of thousands of followers, sell a whole coaching program, and have to show 0 results.
Being a dating
it's called
coach.
Being a dating
coach.
You don't have to show anything.
Man, it's so wild. I think one of the reasons why I made so many guys insecure was because I constantly showed my receipts and my Latin. And
when we say receipts, we're not talking about the girls we're dating. We're the fact that they can't even show girls that they're around.
Well, hold on. Like not not any relationship going forward. I've made the decision I'm going to keep my relationship private. But my previous relationship, I showed her, and it really bothered a lot of people how a young girl that hot was just so into me, because they're like, no, this doesn't make sense. You're not supposed to be able to get girls to date you when you act like Michael Sartain. And then, I had like this girl from Arkansas who was like in her early 20s who was in love with me. It didn't make any sense to them. They couldn't. Well, no, it's because Michael's rich. Rich? I had a car with 122,000 miles. I just bought a new car I am 48 years old, and I bought a new car for the first time in my life. And I got really good financing for it. Like
guys, do you know how long it took me to convince him to buy the truck?
It did.
Took him forever.
Real talk, it was Kindly who convinced me to buy the truck. But it's just one of these things where it's like, and by the way, I'm writing the whole thing off. I'm using my truck for business like crazy. But the whole situation is like the idea, they have to keep making up an excuse why I have so much success. And then there's another problem, which is a lot of these dating coaches, one of the things that happens is when they interview prospective clients and they ask them, have you thought about taking any other courses? Our courses, but go on ChatGPT, guys. If you guys want to do something real quick, go on ChatGPT and look up who's the top social circle coach in the world. Just look. I don't have any control over your ChatGPT. Just look at it right now. Go look at who are some of the top coaches. My name is going to keep coming up, and it's a problem for them. And they're like, wait a second, he's teaching what I don't teach, and he has thousands of testimonials. I have to shit on what he teaches, or else he's going to take all my clients. I totally get it, and I'm not here to like get rid of anyone's program. I personally don't think dating apps work at all. I don't think cold approach pickup works. It works, but it's to a small subset of extremely sociosexual women. I think it works. And I think what I do works outrageously well. And I know because I get invited to weddings all the time.
Even if pre-select, like here's my viewpoint on it and where I kind of knew it worked. Cause I had doubts about it too when I first met you. I was like, really, do I need to post all of this? I thought, okay, maybe this works in Vegas. Cause I lived with you for like 3 months, and then I moved to Boston, which is like, less attractive per se, right? And it had no negative effects at all.
Yeah,
zero.
When I went with you,
I mean, mid women did unfollow me. Don't get me wrong, but other than that, it had no effect.
When I went to your going away party, I saw attractive women, like attractive for. Like period for Vegas, like period, like these women would have been attractive in Vegas, and all of them were at your table, which proved that what I teach works even in Boston. And the other thing that we talked about, I don't know if you want to take this out, we can. Is like the girls there saw your social proof and then came to Vegas and ended up hooking up with you. That was the other part. That was like. It was because that's the thing with like a lot of the events I host, it's not there where I end up hooking up with a girl. It was like literally months later they would come visit me, and then because I had shown so much social proof and never hit on them, it was just obvious that this was going to happen. And this happens anytime girls come from Dallas or Florida or California to come visit Las Vegas. I'm always the first guy they call. Why? Because of those try-hard photos of me with the girls standing on stage at Excess, being criticized by guys who can't get on stage at Excess, who can't get into Live nightclub, who can't get into Story. Well, Story's gone, but it can't get into any nightclub anywhere. They can't.
Wait, I have to posit a conundrum to these guys watching, actually. So let's say, hypothetically, let's say pictures with women, let's say you had 100 attraction. Let's say it took attraction to 0.
Yes.
And it destroyed attraction.
Yes.
But no one can deny that you get more access because of it. You get invited to places.
Yes.
So let's say attraction went back down to 0.
I
am still meeting hotter girls than you, even if everything
exactly
is true.
I'm still getting free tickets to go to Jackpot. I'm still getting free tickets to go to Encore Beach Club on stage at EBC. I'm still getting free tickets to go on stage at the Marquee Sky Deck at Electric Daisy Carnival. I'm still going VIP at Ultra. I'm still getting to go to Dubai and going to the best clubs there. I'm still going to Ibiza during the summer and getting to go VIP, and I don't pay for any of it. You're correct.
So your pickup game can't.
Correct. But here's the other thing. For those of you who don't like nightlife, I'm still getting to go backstage at the 10X conference. I'm still getting to go backstage at Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
I'm still getting to go and speak with the biggest speakers at CES. I'm still getting, no matter what it is, I still have more access than you because of the pictures that I post. So you're correct. Even if online attraction reduces to 0, my access to 7 girls for every guy still trumps whatever you can do as a pickup artist.
Yeah. Well,
or dating apps.
Well, it's like, even if you are the best pickup artist in the world, like, what do you need first as a prerequisite to do your pickup? You need to be in front of her.
Yes.
What if you can't get in front of her?
Yeah, again, and that's the majority of the problem. So what happens is right now
It's alpha to be there.
Right now, dating apps are losing tons of momentum because fewer and fewer women are swiping right or going out with these guys. And nightclubs and nightlife, you guys can look everywhere on the news. Nightlife is dying all across the country. So what I'm saying about social media and social circle being the way to meet women is becoming more relevant every year. Meaning, I think that for the most part, the dating app guys, the text game guys, and the Blackpill guys, and the cold approach guys. Yeah, Texas guys who think that you use text game to get girls. For the most part, those guys are what they're doing is maybe not wrong, but it's inefficient. And my point is, every year it will get less and less efficient, and what I teach will become more and more efficient as women start to curate their attention towards a small subset of guys who know what they're doing.
Hey, that's hilarious. There's text game.
Yeah, there's several books on text games by some of my friends. And by the way, I respect your grift. The problem is, if a woman
text
doesn't
game on a dating app, text game through
text
game through
messaging,
Instagram.
Text message. Basically, I met the girl. She wasn't that attracted to me, and I send her funny messages and say that she looks like my little sister or whatever. And then she's going to become attracted to me. It's complete.
Oh, wait, is it like what we watched in the car? Where it's like, how do you DM a girl? Like her last three.
Yeah, like her last three posts. That was the craziest. I listened to this like female dating coach saying you need to like the girl's last three posts. Like, what are you doing? Like, why would you give this advice? Because you know this doesn't work. You don't have any clients telling you that this worked ever. I don't understand why you're sitting there giving this. And again, why is it? It's the triage thing. They know they can't help their clients. They know that their clients are the guy who got shot in the stomach and is dying. So they're holding their hand and be like, yeah, just look for three. Look for when she touches her hair. That means she likes you. Oh, she looked you up and down. That means it's time for you to approach. They're just patting their head while their client dies because they can't help them. Because they're like, hey, what if you actually generate attraction with women? Well, no one knows how to do that. Yeah, okay, no one knows how to do that. It's just so crazy to me. Like, we're still having this argument over and over again.
I mean, on that note, though, like, obviously we understand, like, fix your Instagram first, right? That's, like, the prerequisite.
Yeah.
But like, logistically, though, I personally don't agree that if you have zero status at all and nothing going for you, that you should go into a nightclub. That's my personal opinion.
We'll disagree on that. Because here's the thing. I can create status instantly because I have a couple of advantages in that I am charismatic and humorous and have a lot.
My thing is, how do you, like, out charisma like Tiesto or John Summers?
You wait to the end of the night. So there's a couple of things. Like,
okay.
Yeah. So it's valet game that I used to do in LA. I used to get in nightclubs in LA when I lived there. I was an actor for like 2 years, and I would go there and I was like, I would try to get into the clubs, and the ROI to get in the clubs was terrible. It was just horrible. Then what I started doing was going to the clubs at 1:45 and standing in the valet like I was waiting for my car and just get girls' numbers. And it was like I was there for 30 minutes and I get like 10 girls' numbers, and I built a social circle by doing that. That's actually the answer.
I mean, wouldn't it be better though? And see, guys, we don't just agree on everything. We even have disagreements. Yeah. Wouldn't it be better to build female friends outside of the club than go to the club with female friends?
Of course, that's more efficient what you're saying. I agree I believe in doing both. I believe in that you can absolutely do both and crush it both ways. It's just, for me, this is another thing, and I know I'm going to get a ton of criticism for this. I speak nightclub. I am fluent in nightclub. When I go to nightclubs, everything opens for me. No, it doesn't matter, whatever city, send me to whatever nightclub you want, and I will get in, no problem. I will talk my way into the VIP. The GM is going to follow me on social media. All the cocktail servers are going to know who I am by the time, because I just know how to work nightclubs because I've been doing it for 25 years. I'm just very good at it. I also really like dubstep. I really, really like John Summit. I like the Chainsmokers. I like some of that cheesy shit. Illenium is the greatest DJ in the world, I think, right now, or Subtronics. They're incredible. When I go to these nightclubs, I'm not like, this is high pressure. I have to be social. This sucks. I'm like, bass drop, and then mosh pit, and I'm having fun. I would be there anyway because I understand how to speak that language. And because of that, I'm always on stage because I understand that. Now, for some of you who are like, I hate nightclubs, Michael, I don't want to go to those places. Just imagine what I said, but now it's like, I speak real estate conference. I speak accounting conference. I speak entrepreneurial luncheon. You can still crush whatever social scene. I am the king of the running club in Austin where I meet all the hot girls. I am the hot yoga dating king. I'm the hot yoga social circle king. Forget about nightlife. Just forget nightlife. I just use nightlife because nightlife is way harder than any of those other things.
So if you were starting over, where would you go? Like, actually go to make female friends
today?
Yeah.
I would still do.
Let's take Vegas out of the equation.
Yeah,
this is an outlier.
So I would do exactly what I'm doing now. Like, I would start using social media and I would start posting really interesting, funny content that was engaging to a lot of people, not expecting to become famous. Maybe 1,000 followers would be fine. And I would do so, and I would continue to post this really great content. In addition, whenever I went out to these different places, I would get photos.
Well, no, that's the thing. What places would you be going to?
So what I would do is I would find the girl. So pick a city. Let's say
Boston.
Okay, we can do Boston. I was going to say Wichita, but yeah, Boston. So I would go to Boston, and I would find the 5 snootiest restaurants in the whole city of Boston and the 5 snootiest nightclubs, and then I would look at which girls tagged themselves in those nightclubs, and I would put them on a list, and then I would look at all the girls that those girls. But I'm just giving away the game right now. Like seriously, if you aren't immediately writing this down and doing this, you're just stupid. Then I would find all the girls that they find, and then I would hire a VA from Nepal or Singapore or whatever. I'd hire a VA from the Philippines, and I would tell them, "Do you see these 100 girls that I put on this list? I want you to copy this. And I want you to find girls who look like this, but go through all the people they follow and then go through these locations and find all the." So for instance, nightclubs, you'll see.
It's actually simpler than that. Go where the pickup artists don't go.
Yeah, it's funny.
that's where you go.
That's funny. So what I would do is I would do all of that, and then I would go. This is another thing that you'll find is that nightclubs also follow really attractive women because they want those attractive women to come. So I would look at.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, very frequently nightclubs will follow because a lot of times,
even if she doesn't have like 100K followers.
Yes, for sure. Like in Dallas, if you look at like Citizen or some of those other clubs, they're actually following really attractive women. So I would look at who all the nightclubs follow, all the really snooty restaurants and nightclubs and bars where they follow. And then I would look at all the girls who tag themselves at those locations. So like Catch here in Vegas would be a great one. I would go all the girls who went to Catch, all the girls that tagged themselves at Toca Madera. I would tag all the girls that tag themselves at Catch in Los Angeles. I would Stone Crab. What's it called in Miami? Down south, there's a Stone Crab, Joe's Shack, Stone Shack.
Are you talking about Kiki's on the river?
Joe's Shack, Crab Shack. Forgive me. I don't remember what the fuck it's called.
Yeah.
But I would find all the girls that tag themselves at that location, and then I would build my list based on that, and then I would start finding offers and events to invite them to, while at the same time going out and doing cold approach to build a social circle, inviting girls to events, swapping IGs. And then when she checked my IG, she would see relevancy, competency, humor, charisma, pre-selection, social proof on my IG, because I would do the 3 types of photos. I would do the pre-selection photo, the candid photo, and the lifestyle photo.
Yeah, actually, I actually have a question on it because I didn't grow up.
I just taught the whole course, by the way. I don't know if you guys were paying attention there.
Yeah, we might edit this out.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up with pickup. So what is the difference between humor, charisma, social proof status versus pickup? Like, what's the...
So if you're a pickup artist, you can definitely learn to be funny. The problem is
what's the difference between that and
so the problem is everything I just said you can do in pickup, with the exception of access to scarce locations and networks. You don't get that in pickup, and social proof, you don't get that in pickup, and pre-selection, you can kind of get that in pickup.
Yeah.
Humor and charisma, you definitely can get in pickup, and then relevancy and competency, you don't use that in pickup because it's cold approach, like you just met the person. The problem is whatever attributes that you have that make you funny and charismatic, they're tainted because of the interest that you're showing to a woman who did nothing to earn it. I do not show intent or interest to a woman who did nothing to earn it. And so because of that, what I do is I create social situations where there's so many women competing for my attention that they show interest to me. And then from that interest or that compliance they show to me, then I choose from those girls who I move forward with. That's the massive difference between what cold approach teaches. And again, cold approach is not wrong. I know we bag on them a lot. It's just inefficient. Cold approach is a horse and buggy, and I am driving a Cybertruck. That's the difference, right? Cold approach is the Wright brothers flying the first airplane in like 1908, and social circle is the Concorde flying at Mach 3. Like that's the difference.
I mean, I find it very interesting because I know we go to the club quite a bit, and it's just kind of crazy that there are like these coaches who have been here for like 12 years, maybe even longer than you.
Yeah.
And they're still in the GA. They're still in the guest list.
Not only are they in the guest list line, like I literally can get 50 of my clients into a nightclub through the table line.
Yeah.
Like how, and these guys like literally are just having to do guest list every night, and they live here. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like anti-social circle. I don't understand this. If I go to a restaurant frequently, like Toca Madera, or if I go to, like, I happen to love Mastro's because they both have butter cake. If I go to those places frequently, I know the chef. I know the GM. When I show up, the bellhop is like, "Hey, Mr. Sartain, it's really good to see you." Like, they effortlessly, and I tip them afterwards. So when I show up with a girl, it looks like I am the man. It looks like I'm the mayor. Does that make sense? That's the way you do it. That's how the celebrity game, it's called local celebrity game. I don't need you to be a 10 out of 10. I don't need you to be The Rock. I need you to be a 1 out of 10. I just need, when you go to a location, I need people to know who you are. Does that make sense? That's all. It's very small, very easy to accomplish. When you do so, dating is on easy mode when you just learn these small little social cues that women pick up on. And everyone agrees with me. I was listening to Scott Galloway talking about if you have a posse, if she gets to see that you have a posse of really cool people, that's a huge turn on for women. Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, he said that?
Yes, he did. Even Scott Galloway agrees. Like, this is the truth. Social circle is it's okay. It's not the only way. It's the most efficient way. On a scale of 1 to 100, it's a 100. Pickup being like an 8 and Blackpill being like a 2. Like, looks maxing is like a 5. Cold approach is like maybe a 12 or a 15. Social circle is a 100.
You know what's interesting about the looks maxing thing is because you and I do interviews, so we have this experience that a lot of the viewers don't have. People don't also forget the fact that it's not fully his look. It's the fact that he's being followed around by 3 people with a giant light on.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what's getting the attention, not just him mogging.
Oh, you're talking about clavicular?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People forget that there's people following them around with a giant light.
Yeah, I would say right now the majority, and maybe he doesn't know this, the majority of his attraction from women is coming from the fact that he's famous as opposed to how good looking he is. But his good lookingness allowed him to become famous. So it's kind of chicken or the egg kind of thing. The main thing is, like, again, if Shaquille O'Neal says, here's the best way to play basketball, stand under the basket and then turn and dunk the ball, that's correct for him. If clavicular says the best way for you to get women is to be really good looking, that's correct for him. I agree that's correct for him. I don't live in his world. I live in a different world. I have clients that are not as good looking or as tall as him, and I still have to get them the girl of their dreams. And so in order for me to do that, it's like I said before, clavicular is the 7-foot guy telling other guys, you need to play center in the NBA like I am. And he's telling the 6-foot guys, you need to play center like I do. And I'm telling the 6-foot guys, you need to learn how to dribble, pass, shoot, defend, protect the basketball, and control the pace. I'm teaching you a skill set. Mm-hmm. And by the way, guys who are 6 feet tall can play in the NBA because they have a skill set. That's the difference. And that's what I'm teaching. And as much as you don't want to believe it, like, I've gotten over this idea of trying to convince you. I don't give a shit anymore. What I want you to do is not believe me. Because most of our clients, where do they come from? They come from, well, I tried this course and it didn't really work, and then a friend of mine recommended your course, and then I read your reviews, and then I was listening to Sterling Cooper, and I was listening to the guys at Fresh and Fit, and I was listening to Rolo, and I was listening to all these other guys, Justin Waller, and they all said you have the best program. And I was like, oh, I really appreciate it. Even Wes Watson was like recommending my program.
Yeah. Tall, good-looking, rich guys say we have.
He was even recommending that program to people, and it was just like one of these situations. And Wes doesn't need to do it. Wes has like 3 Phantoms. He doesn't need to do what I'm doing, but. That's the thing. And by the way, if you are outrageously good looking or super, super rich, you don't really need to take my course. You're like, I'll give you, well, being super rich, you definitely need to take my course. But like, if you're super good looking or famous, you really don't need to do the stuff that I'm teaching. I agree with you. You're right. If you look like clavicular's reality is correct for him. That's why there's no reason to debate. But it doesn't work for Sandeep from New Delhi. It doesn't work for the 5'5" Filipino cashier. It doesn't work for that guy. And so what I have to do is teach how to get those guys to get the woman of their dreams. That's why whenever we lead with testimonials, we always lead with short Indian dudes or short Asian guys, and then watch how they cry. Or we have a black dude who's surrounded by white women. We always do that because those are the limiting beliefs that guys have. Getting good-looking white dudes laid is not difficult. It's not as difficult. Well, I'm sorry. It's just as difficult. The difference is it's not as impressive as a testimonial.
Sure.
And that's why we do that whole thing differently.
I've seen this study going around, and it is so hilarious because we have so many successful clients. What do you think about when women say that the number one attraction trigger is intelligence?
No, bro. The number one hobby that women find attractive is reading. Bro, I remember when I was in the military, I had free time on base, and I counted. I made it through 65 books in 1 year. No girl cared at all. But when I got in shape and I got a little clout on social media, women started crawling. And then when they saw I read, then they found it attractive. I'm going to make it as simple as I can. If you talk to most men and you ask them what they're attracted to, like, for instance, I like the volleyball player with big boobs. That's my physical type. If you look at my exes, they all have musculature, small waist, really big boobs. That's what I'm into. If I tell you that's what I'm into and you look at my dating history, guess what you see? They're the same. If you ask a woman what she's into, she's going to tell you not what she finds attractive. She's going to tell you what she finds comfortable. And she's going to say, I like a guy who to buy me flowers. No, you like a guy you're attracted to buy you flowers. I like a guy who's vulnerable. No, you don't. You like a guy you're attracted to be vulnerable. I like a guy who's kind. No, you don't. You like a guy who you're attracted to be kind. I like a guy who reads and is intelligent. No, you don't. You like a guy you're attracted to read and be intelligent. If an overweight, homeless, smelly man came up to you, bought you flowers, turned out he was kind, turned out he was super intelligent, you would not become your vagina would not become wet for him. You would not become physiologically attracted to a man who had those characteristics. And the reason why is because women cannot conceptualize of being attracted to someone they're not attracted to. When you watch what they do and not what they say, what you find out is the bad boy who has the boundaries, who doesn't call you back, who makes you fight for his attention, who has other women chasing him. This is who you're attracted to. But the guy who reads and is vulnerable and buys you flowers, this is who makes you comfortable once you're attracted to them. So when you ask women what they're attracted to here, all they tell you are these things over here. So with a man, what I say I'm attracted to, what I'm actually attracted to are the same circle. What women say they're attracted to and what they find comfortable are two different circles. And because of that, that's why women say, I like men who read.
I mean, isn't it ironic how many like porn stars are sapiosexuals?
Yeah, it's so funny. It's like we've had porn stars on it. They're like, I'm a sapiosexual. I'm like, your last 3 boyfriends were male models and strippers. Stop it. I'm not stupid by that,
dude. It's like, going to do an Ivy League school and everything. The amount of guys who struggled with women, who are the smartest guys, that they read more than anybody.
Yeah. Well, no. I would imagine that Jeff Bezos reads more than you or I. Right? Of course he does. But yet
Warren Buffett reads for 8 hours a day.
But yet Warren Buffett's wife left him, and Jeff Bezos, his wife left him, and Jeff Bezos is now married to a gold digger who's been with a bunch of NFL players. Like who has kids with several other men. Like I don't understand.
Could you?
No, she doesn't have kids. She has several kids with one man, but she was dating several NFL players in the interim, and that's who he chose to be with. Why is that? By the way, this is a completely different subject.
Could you imagine? I got all those girls to my birthday party by talking about reading.
Yeah. He had all these cheerleaders from the Patriots. You remember you showed me that video. You had a bunch of Patriots cheerleaders with you. Yeah, you told them about the reading that you do. It's crazy. if I know a girl's attracted to me and I start talking about reading, she does find it more comfortable. She does find me more stimulating. But if she's not attracted to me, I'm just deeper in the friend zone. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why you can't ask the deer to teach you how to catch deer. You can't ask the fish to teach you how to catch fish. And you can't ask the woman. Could you imagine if Lindsay Palas or Emily Sears or Abigail Ratchford sat out there and be like, these are the 3 things that if any guy did, I would sleep with them. Could you imagine if they came out with something like that? It would go mega viral, but of course it can't work because that's not how the world works. Attractive women can't explain to you how to sleep with them. It is physically impossible for them to do this. And it's not because they're trying to lie to you. It's because they are not aware of how their own attraction triggers work. Or they are, and they realize it makes them look bad, that women find married men more attractive, that women find men who are players to be more attractive, that women find men who have that narcissistic, jacked physique, not the dad bod, more attractive. Women are not attracted to men with dad bods. They're attracted to men who got them pregnant and have a dad bod. They're attracted to men that they're already find physically attractive because they're rich, famous, or whatever, and those guys have dad bods. That's what they're attracted to. And so because of that, then they say, well, yeah, I like a guy with dad bod. Yeah, because generally what happens when a woman gets pregnant and she has a male partner, his testosterone levels drop and his prolactin levels go up and he becomes fatter. That's you guys will notice that the sympathetic weight gain. The wife gets fat and the man gets fat. That's an evolutionary.
You mean synchronistic?
I think it's sympathetic. I think the term is sympathetic. Yeah,
never heard of it.
Could be wrong, but I believe it's sympathetic weight gain is the term. And it's so because the woman's getting fatter, the man is also getting fatter because the way it works. And even Professor Galloway, Prof G, said this in his book on Notes on Being a Man. I just finished it 2 days ago. And even he talks about that in his book. When you get married, your testosterone levels drop because you don't need to hunt anymore, and you don't need to hunt for women anymore. So your testosterone levels drop so you can chill out and spend time with the kids. That's absolutely true. So seeing that dad bod for a woman who wants to keep her man at home, not cheating on her, that's a positive sign. Women will see guys who are ripped and be like, he's a narcissist. I'm like, I guarantee you he bangs more chicks than the fat dude. I guarantee you he does. It's just the truth. So that's the thing. That's where the difference is. And because the blue pill mainstream media dating coach, matchmaker, pickup artists can't, well, the pickup artists do understand this point. I will give them credit for this. Because they don't understand the point about women saying what they find comfortable as opposed to what they find attractive. Because we don't want to admit that this separation exists. I will always have a job.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's really interesting. The thing I'm most proud of with Moa specifically is not even like all the testimonials we have and all the stories I hear. It's really interesting because I think a lot of guys who get into this type of content are actually tend to be higher IQ.
Yes.
Because they were nerdier, they
Yes.
studied engineering,
Exactly
they were a
right.
doctor, lawyer, whatever.
Yes.
And the best compliment that I've ever gotten was not from the stories or the testimonials. It's when a Harvard researcher tells us this is the most academically backed
Yes.
course I've ever
Yeah,
seen.
we just had a Harvard research actually tell that to us recently. And so here's the thing. If we had 200 guys on, let's say the Tuesday call, we have 200 guys on the call, and we were to survey the IQ of all of them, I bet the average IQ we're going to find is about 115, 117, somewhere there.
Yeah.
We have a lot of really highly intellectual.
Which doesn't make our jobs easier because you guys are neurotic.
Yeah, that actually makes it harder
Yeah.
because you're, like you said, they are more neurotic. They care more about what people think about them, and they think through problems more than acting. So what we end up having are guys who are financially successful but don't know how to talk to women, because talking to women is how you project a feeling. When I want to do a business deal, I give you an offer. Shake your hand. Here's the offer. You get this, I get this. Does that sound good to you? Do due diligence. And then I make a logical representation to you, a logical presentation, and then you look at my logical presentation and said, okay, this is the financing deal. This is how many points we get. This is the equity we get. Okay, we can agree. Shake hands. We have a deal. That's how deals are done. That's how business is done. If I do that with a woman, here's the thing. I am this tall and have this job. You now want to have sex with me. Can we shake on that? Can we shake on the sex we're about to have? You look like a moron. You look like you're autistic. So the same mechanisms of logic, reason, and accountability that made you successful in business make you terrible with women. And so you need to learn how to be when you see, like, this is one thing that really pisses off our clients. It's the chill guy, bro, who smokes a little weed and plays the guitar with his shirt unbuttoned at the party, and he's dumb as shit, bro. And he's like just playing the songs, the love songs. And he's like, yeah, bro, be chill, bro. And they hate it. Why is that guy getting laid and I'm not getting laid? I'm an anthropologist. Why is that guy I'm a cardiologist. Why is that guy getting laid and I'm not getting laid? And so what I try to explain to them is because that other guy is better at telling stories and projecting feelings.
Yeah.
That's all attraction with women is. You're projecting feelings. You don't believe me? Have you ever seen a woman who has an ugly baby and tells everybody how beautiful her baby is?
Yeah.
Happens all the time. Women can retcon men into being attractive. This is such a
What do you mean by that?
Meaning, like, if a woman, like, for instance, if you all of a sudden, there's a firefighter who's physically unattractive and he saves a woman from a burning fire, she sees him as more physically attractive. This is true. Florence Nightingale effect. Like, she takes care of her clients or her patients, and because she cares more about her patients, she falls in love with them and she starts believing that they're more physically attractive. I promise you.
And they start believing they were always actually attracted to them.
My exes all, when we were dating, believed that I was more attractive than I actually was because they were attracted to me and retconned how attractive I was.
How many IOIs did your exes give you?
None. They hated me. Most of my exes did not like me, weren't attracted to me at all, and in most of them I got into some kind of argument with them before we ended up hooking up, and probably would have told you that they hated me when they first met me. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I would say that's almost entirely the case. And with the exception of one she's extremely bisexual, they would all tell me that they hated the fact that I knew so many other women and then went out with me anyway.
Yeah, and I also think it's something that's inconvenient is I've noticed that a lot of Blackpill likes to cite science, but they don't cite the real science.
Yes, of course.
Which is everything we talk about.
Yeah, so if you only look at the data on physical attractiveness generating attraction, then Blackpill looks like it's real, right? It's like 3 people touch an elephant. One of them, the 3 blind people touch an elephant. One of them touches the tail and it's like, oh, this is like a vine or like a tree. One of them touches the leg and say, oh, this is a tree trunk. One of them touches the nose and like, oh, this elephant is like a snake. If you only touch a certain part of the elephant, it looks like one thing. If you only look at the data on physical attractiveness, then it looks like Blackpill is correct. If you include the data on status, you understand that Blackpill is telling a subset of a subset of a subset of the attraction story. That's the thing. But if you are really attractive, you don't need to believe in anything. I used to say this about Bilzerian. Dan's a good friend of mine. Dan, I think the majority of women would not have sex with Dan. The problem is when Dan would go out, there's so many women who would have sex with Dan were surrounding him everywhere that he went, that from his reality, he didn't have Dan told me one time, he's like, if I had 16 all these girls. Like that's because from Dan, there was so much abundance in his life. He was only one Dan that if the majority of women didn't find him attractive, it doesn't matter. I think the majority of women wouldn't sleep with Leonardo DiCaprio, but it doesn't matter because from his standpoint, he's got droves of women who would. I think there's a lot of women who think Machine Gun Kelly looks too feminine and don't find him attractive. Most women probably don't, but enough women do that he doesn't know the difference, and that's why he cheats on Megan Fox. Like that's the difference. So from their standpoint, they're right. From clavicular standpoint, from a solipsistic standpoint, from his point of view, he is correct. But it's relative. But from the standpoint of my clients, he's not correct. That's it. That's the way to explain the whole thing away.
Yeah. Last topic. I was talking to a researcher the other day, and he said something to me where basically he was like, "Yeah, I knew feminism was debunked when I saw how liberal women date in the marketplace in college." And basically what I wanted to get into is...
I totally agree, yeah.
Yeah, and can you actually go into and this is where I'll give the male model dating coaches credit because they will talk about this. Talk about the role of race in dating in current day.
Oh, we're really ready to get canceled.
Yeah, okay. Let's do it.
If you guys want to do this, look up Satoshi Kanazawa. He's a guy who wrote a book called Why Beautiful People Have More Daughters, and he also wrote The Intelligence Paradox. Satoshi Kanazawa produced some, and he's probably mad at me for saying this because he's trying to like get run away from this whole idea. Satoshi Kanazawa basically got professionally, seriously canceled because he produced some data that showed that African American women and Asian men do worse on dating apps, and that African American men actually do the best, and Asian women do the best, or they tie. And the people who liked African American women the least were
African American?
No, Hispanic men.
Oh,
crazy. Like he had all this data like showing what he was saying. And it was so offensive when he produced this data that a lot of people didn't want to, he got canceled. And he did it right at the beginning, like right around 2015 when woke cancel culture was coming on. Mm-hmm. And so he had to deal with it. Do you remember, this is completely off subject. Do you remember the thing that happened to Julian Blanc? Where he ends up pushing that girl's head down and gets canceled. He gets his visa out from Australia.
He gets banned from 6 different countries.
If he did that today, consider what you see all these streamers do today. If Julian Blanc did that today, what would happen to him? Nothing. That level of cancel culture. Is anything Julian Blanc did as controversial as anything Nick Fuentes has done? No, not even close. Myron Gaines out Julian every week he goes on Rumble. So he would not, and I keep trying to explain this to Owen. I was like, Owen, Julian would not get canceled again today. He would be lauded. Julian would be a huge red pill, like famous streamer today if he had done it. But Julian, he ran away from pickup and got away from all that stuff after that happened. And my point is, like, there's no cancel culture. Like, nothing bad happens whenever you do that. What was the original question?
No. Can we talk about, like, because people will actually deny this, and also female dating coaches deny this more than anything, but, like, the actual impacts of race in the dating.
Oh, yeah. Going back to what you're saying. So the thing is, like, I wish Satoshi would come out and just say this stuff again, because I think it would be Satoshi Kanazawa. I believe he is at University of London School of Economics. I believe that's where he is now. I've emailed him a couple times. And I really wish that he would come out and just say this stuff again, because it is true. You do have a definitive disadvantage for certain ethnicities. And the reason why, here's the funny thing. Ready? This was, what is the book that has all the data on the dating apps? It's the eHarmony CTO. No, OkCupid CTO wrote a book called, not Scorecasting. What's it called? Everybody Lies. I can't remember the name of the book. Look up, just guys, Google CTO OkCupid. He writes a book. And in the book, he goes over this really, really funny data. Bisexual women would message both men and women. Bisexual men would only message men. It was really funny. They were like, it's very rare for a man to actually be bisexual. And then they would look at race and they would say, okay, when men said that they would date women of any race, do you know what they did? They dated women of any race. When women said they dated men of any race, do you know what they did? They picked one race and they basically stayed with that one race.
Oh my God.
Yes. It was, what is the name of the book? Somebody look it up for me. But I quote this book all the time and I can't remember the name of it, but it's the CTO of OkCupid. And so,
it did show like what races, like, I hate to say this word, but ranked higher.
Yeah, they did.
Right?
They did.
Yeah.
And people don't like to have this discussion. And my whole thing, that I've said this before, and
I love discussion because we have discussion every week.
we have to. The Alex Hormozy video that you showed me the other day, Alex Hormozy.
I never had more respect for him.
Yeah, Alex Hormozy had a guy come on, and forgive me for my accent here, but he was like, "Oh, I have an Indian accent. What should I do in order for me to get more American clients?" And Alex Hormozy looked right at him and goes, "You got to lose your accent. You need to sound American." And I was like, "Yo, Hormozy's telling the truth like that? Shit." And the reality is, dude, being the Indian guy who has skinny arms and the deep Indian accent, because
It's not attractive, bro.
You're playing into a trope, and it's less attractive to Western women in general. It just is, and that's the problem. And also, like, consider, but there's other things you can do that are unattractive, like worrying about what other people think about you, like our German clients often do, or feeling like everyone is looking at everything you do, like a lot of our Asian clients believe.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is, like, if you're going to be the Indian guy dating white women, be the jacked Indian guy with the deep voice that's dating Indian women. Does that make sense?
Eat meat.
Eat meat. Be the athletic Asian dude. Like, don't play into the trope. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Don't play into the nice guy, polite trope. Don't be the Canadian guy who says thank you all the time and is super polite. Don't play into the trope that makes you unattractive. Listen, I didn't make the
No, because I see like these studies are interpreted. I mean, because there's always the research and then there's the interpretation of the research.
Yes.
And Blackpill, their interpretation is, okay, so you're Indian, you should just kill yourself. That is literally some of the things they say. They're just like, yeah, like Clavicular said, like, yeah, dude, at max you'll be a 5, so you're kind of just fucked.
Like, you're an Indian man and you've had hotter women than any dating coach I've ever seen in my life come after you. So what they're saying is objectively not true. Mm-hmm. And it's one of the crazy things is like, like, somehow my program has become this refuge for unattractive men to come and like date hot women. Yeah. Because it works. That's the problem. But when we get attractive guys who come on the call, they like crush it, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the thing is, it is true, but it's not an excuse.
Yeah.
It's true, but it's not an excuse. It's true, but it's not everything. Just like I said, we're going to keep going 6 foot tall versus 7 feet tall playing in the NBA. Just because you're 6 feet tall doesn't mean you can't play in the NBA. And just because you're Indian doesn't mean that there aren't other things. What was it Blaine who said, or someone else who said something about make it the fourth thing that they describe about you? You know,
why make it anything?
Yeah, or why make it exactly? Why make it
not noticeable?
Yeah, he's a content creator. He's a Marine. He's a whatever. The fourth thing they say is he's short or he's Indian. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Or they just forget.
But like, the thing is, people are going to get upset about me saying this. I didn't make the world racist. Sorry, I didn't make the world this way. I didn't make the world prejudiced. I didn't do that. I didn't. That was already like that. So you can choose to listen to me. Whatever I'm going to say is not going to be what you want to hear, but I am going to tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude. That's all I got for you, man. That's all the questions we have for today. I think this was a good show.
Man, I'm lost my voice. That was crazy. We went nuts. Hey, man, I really like this format. If you guys appreciated this, I got some huge podcast guests coming up here in the future. I love the fact that you guys are liking this format. We're doing these videos at 10 a.m. on Tuesdays. If you guys want to check out the podcast, whenever you see the podcast, you're going to see the symbol behind me. That's my regular podcast. On Thursdays, we have a one-on-one where I do direct-to-camera video, and it goes in my Limiting Beliefs playlist. Make sure you check out the 10 a.m. Thursday videos that we've been putting out recently. And for those of you who want to check out Access Vegas, that's always going to be Wednesday nights at 7:45 p.m. Pacific time. You can check that out. We do 1 or 2 episodes a month just because it's a hassle to try to recruit all these girls. And Rolo and I are busy a lot of times. If you guys want to send Rolo Rolo some well wishes, he has been. He had surgery. Everything went fine. I'm not going to say what it was, but he's going to be in the hospital for about 3 days. He's going to get out here pretty soon. But if you want to send him some well wishes, you can. And lastly, Ben, if you guys, want to, I don't know what to do here, how to say this exactly, but, if you have a good thought or a prayer for Katie Moore and her family. Katie Moore passed away last Wednesday. She's been on Access Vegas maybe 6, 7, 8 times. She was one of my close friends. If you guys are in Men of Action, you see a ton of videos of Katie. Katie was a selfless person. She was one of the best wing women I've ever met in my life. She was a really great friend, always had my side, and she passed away, in her late 20s, and it was really, really sad thing that happened. It was, unforeseen medical thing. She didn't take her own life, anything like that. So if you guys want to, wish her well, the funeral's next year. So if you guys remember Katie, you can leave a nice thought for her, maybe on her Instagram or something like that. So appreciate you guys checking us out. If you guys are interested, and you go on Reddit and you read about my program, is it $50,000? How much is it to join the course? $75,000. We have a course that is $27 that teaches everything that I just talked about in this course. Make sure you click on the link below and make sure you sign up for an ignition call. And if it's right for you, man, check out our $27 course. If you want to work with us and really change your life, we got some other stuff there for you. So I appreciate you guys joining us. We will see you all next week.